Hello and welcome to our assembly on Friday the 5th of March. Well, we had a Saints' Day at the beginning of the week, so hello to all our friends and family in Wales and happy St David's Day, which was the 1st of March. Now, where am I? Yes, I've come into the art cupboard. The art cupboard of Mrs. Ferguson. Now, if you were watching Assembly last week, you will know that I said I was looking for Fairtrade products because it's Fairtrade Fortnight. And did you find your Fairtrade products? I showed you my shopping bag that I actually got in Germany that was Fairtrade, and there are things that we can find in our cupboards that are Fairtrade. I know some of the staff have been working on Fairtrade work, and also Mrs. Ferguson sent home quite a lot of activities to do around Fairtrade. I told you last week I came into her cupboard and I found some Fairtrade chocolate and I ate it. She didn't find out till later, but guess what? I'm in here and I think she's hidden it all. I think Mrs. Ferguson has hidden the rest of the Fairtrade chocolate so that Miss Chad can't eat it. It's a shame, isn't it? So I've looked around and there's just pencils and glue and lots of plastic straws and pretty things and buttons and shiny things to make crafts with, and definitely no sign of Fairtrade chocolate. So I'm going to leave the art cupboard again, and as I do, it's that point in assembly and we'll be moving over and you can enjoy your song.
I can clap my hands,
I can clap my hands,
I can stamp my feet,
I can stamp my feet,
I can turn around,
I can turn around,
I can feel the beat,
I can feel the beat,
I can clap my hands,
I can clap my hands,
I can stamp my feet,
I can stamp my feet,
I can turn around,
I can turn around,
I can feel the beat.
I can feel the beat.
But there's more to me than you can see. I can feel so high,
I can feel so high,
I can feel so low,
I can feel so low,
I can feel so yes,
I can feel so yes,
I can feel so no,
I can feel so no,
I can feel so high,
I can feel so high,
I can feel so low,
I can feel so low,
I can feel so yes,
I can feel so yes,
I can feel so no.
I can feel so
We're gonna
no.
knock our knees and touch our toes. I can knock my knees,
I can knock my knees,
I can touch my toes,
I can touch my toes,
I can sing along,
I can sing along,
that's how it goes.
that's how it goes.
I can knock my knees,
I can knock my knees,
I can touch my toes,
I can touch my toes,
I can sing along,
I can sing along,
that's how it goes.
that's how it goes.
But there's more to me than you can see. I can feel so high,
I can feel so high,
I can feel so low,
I can feel so low,
I can feel so yes,
I can feel so yes,
I can feel so no,
I can feel so low,
I can feel so high,
I can feel so high,
I can feel so low,
I can feel so low,
I can feel so yes,
I can feel so yes,
I can feel so no.
I can feel so no.
We're gonna clap our hands again. Here we go. I can clap my hands.
I can clap my hands.
I can stamp my feet.
I can stamp my feet.
I can turn around.
I can turn around.
I can feel the beat.
I can feel
Knock
the
your knees.
beat.
I can knock my knees.
I can knock my knees.
I can touch my toes.
I can touch my toes.
I can sing along.
I can sing along.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
But there's more to me than you can see.
What's a good thing to do on a rainy day?
I'm gonna read a book today.
Or when it's too hot to go outside and play?
I'm gonna read a book today.
One can take you to a world of make-believe,
I'm gonna read a book today.
where spaceships fly and dinosaurs breathe.
I'm gonna read a book today.
What you gonna do?
Read.
What you gonna do?
Read.
Read a little every day. What you gonna do?
Read.
What you gonna do?
Read.
Smarter every single page. How you gonna learn about the kings from long ago?
I'm gonna read a book today.
Or how Singapore came to be from days of old.
I'm gonna read a book today.
How can you learn how an airplane flies?
I'm gonna read a book today.
Or why a spider has a gazillion eyes?
I'm gonna read a book today.
Hey, what you gonna do?
Read.
What you gonna do?
Read.
Read a little every day. What you gonna do?
Read.
What you gonna do?
Read.
It's easier every single page.
So, I did escape from Mrs. Ferguson's art cupboard, and I don't think she realised that I was trying to take away and eat all the chocolate. Anyway, she did a little. So, we've had Fairtrade Fortnight, and yesterday was World Book Day. And there's been a PowerPoint from Miss Kirkwood, who will also be reading live today. I'm going on a bear hunt. And who else has read this week? Well, Mrs. Bishop was reading yesterday and will continue the reading of her book next week. And Mrs. Laird has been reading live and will be doing a reading for Assembly, which will happen next. And just to celebrate fair trade, there's a photo of Mrs. Ferguson with some of her fair trade products and stickers and posters and her little Fairtrade cup in her room. So we are carrying on our World Book Day activities next week, and we will have more live reading on Teams. Obviously, part of the challenge is to actually connect on Teams, and there's definitely been issues with Teams this week and connectivity. So we will try to put a few live readings on so that you can tune into some of them. I was reading from Anne Frank's diary earlier this week, just so we could reflect and think on a different kind of lockdown and a much scarier one. And then I read 3 very silly limericks. So remember, you can go out and either try to write a limerick or even find and read a few limericks. See what your favourite ones are. Anyway, I'm now going to pass over to Mrs. Laird for her reading of a really fantastic book. The artwork is amazing, and I think you'll find it very calming and relaxing to listen to it. So another celebration for World Book activities.
Hi everyone, I'm going to read a book again today. This book is by one of my favourite authors. Not only do I like his stories, but he draws the pictures as well, and he's a fantastic artist. So there's not much talking in the story, but there are lots of lovely things to look at. So it's called Bear's Adventure by Benedict Blathwaite. And there's the first part of the book. And I'll hold it up here, and I hope you can see the whole picture. You can see the words underneath, so if you want, you can read out the words with me, or if not, just look at the picture. It says, "This is Bear." And as you can see, he's sitting on the window ledge, and the house is very close to the sea. There's the sea and the beach just outside his window, with some lovely shells on the window ledge as well. Bear loved to be beside the sea. Here he is here, having a wee sleep with his bucket and spade, and there's some birds you can see flying about. These are interesting birds. They've got 2 names. They're usually called lapwings, but sometimes people call them peewits. So Bear loved to be beside the sea. The children built castles for him. And there's Bear inside the castle with shells and stones, and somebody has put all these different flags from different countries round his castle. Now, I know some people in Pilrig Park are very, very keen on flags, so I'm sure that lots of you will be able to tell which countries these flags come from. I'll just point to 2. I can see one in the corner. There's a Scottish flag, the Saltire. And at the other side, there's the Union flag. But if you want, you can just pause the video if you want to talk with people at home about the other flags that you can see. So the children built castles for Bear. And sometimes they built boats. That's a fantastic boat with sticks for a mast, seaweed for a sail, and in the foreground you can also see a wee crab. But one evening they forgot all about him. And if you look very closely at the picture, you might be able to see that all the people are going home, but poor Bear is still in his boat. They've forgotten all about him. One of the things I like about this picture is you can see the cows just at the edge of the beach. And if you go to some places in Scotland, particularly the Western Isles, you'll definitely see lots of cows grazing at the side of the beach. However, back to the story. Poor Bear, he's been left all alone in his boat. Bear watch the tide rise higher. There's the wave, the tide is coming in. You can see from his face he's starting to get pretty worried. The tide rose higher and higher and higher until Bear was floating on the water. And of course there's a lovely lighthouse in the picture. And he grew heavier and heavier. That means he was going down and down into the water until he sank down, down, down to the bottom of the sea. Now this is one of these fantastic pictures where if you look closely, you can see lots and lots of things. There's Bear, obviously, and different kinds of fish, but I can also see a starfish and a sea urchin, and I think you'd call that a prawn maybe, or maybe a lobster. And somewhere there it is, there's a hermit crab. I'm sure some people know that a hermit crab doesn't have its own shell. It finds other shells and it makes its home inside them. So poor Bear went right down to the bottom of the sea. And there's no words on this page, just a beautiful picture of Bear floating down. What else can we see that we haven't seen previously? Oh, I can see some stones with some barnacles, a sea anemone, some jellyfish. There's a big lobster inside the lobster creel. And Bear's still down at the bottom of the sea. And now on this page we can see an octopus and, very interestingly, a sunken ship with a treasure chest, some money, and there's a sword. The tide carried Bear along. He went round and round great seals until, bump, Bear was caught in a net. There's the seal still looking on. I wonder whose net that is. Oh, here's the answer. It's the fishermen. They pulled the net in with all their fish and suddenly Bear was on the boat. The fishermen picked Bear up and hung him out to dry. There he is with the fishermen's shirts and their socks. He's hung up by his ears and he's drying on the boat. There's the water dripping off. Bear sat in the sun. He definitely looks a bit drier now. He's inside the boat, inside the fishing boat, and you can see other fishing boats in the water. There's one of the fishermen. You just see his hand and his leg. You don't see his face. And of course, lots and lots of seagulls. Because if you ever see a fishing boat, you're likely to see lots of seagulls behind them, just in case they can get any fish from the fishing boat. And I think sometimes the fishermen give them fish as well. But when the boat was tied up in the harbour, Bear was left all alone. The fishermen didn't take him home. There he is there. He's tied to this post with a note, and the note says, "Found." They're hoping that somebody's going to come and see if it's their lost bear. I can see a couple of interesting things in this picture. I can see some black-headed gulls, and I can see a cat. But he wasn't all alone for long. Not for long. A seagull took poor Bear by the ear. So the seagull picks Bear up by the ear, flies off into the sky. You can see by Bear's face he's a little bit scared. Higher and higher the seagull flew. There's all the boats underneath. There's the street. Bear and the seagull fly into the sky. And then he let Bear drop. Down, down, down. Bear falls right on top of a huge wave. And look, he's actually quite close to the lighthouse at this point. Bear floated on the sea and he washed ashore on the same beach he had come from. There he is, he looks a bit happier now. On this page we can see oyster catchers and the lapwings, and I can see a fish skeleton, and I can see something interesting here. Sometimes people call that a mermaid's purse, but it's actually a little thing with dogfish eggs inside it. And another thing, because lots of you know that I like birds a lot, right in the corner there's a bird called a curlew. Bear's lying on the beach. He heard voices far away, and then familiar arms were holding him. Bear, cried a happy voice. Bear's adventure was over. There his owners walk along the beach and they find him and they pick him up, he looks very happy, and they take him home. And Bear knew he had an adventure, but nobody else knew he had had an adventure. They thought he'd been lying on the beach all night. And that's the end of our story. And this is the back of the book. Hope you enjoyed that. Bye.
Okay, good morning boys and girls and families. It's nice to see you all. As you know, Thursday is World Book Day. So today I would like to read a story called Where the Wild Things Are, which is one of Miss Kirkwood's favourite and also my children's favourite when they were little. And it's about a little boy called Max and his adventures. So the night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another. Here's Max. He looks a bit vicious, doesn't he? Chasing the dog down the stairs with his fork, and he's got big horns. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. He looks very cross, doesn't he? Not happy at all. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew and grew and grew until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day. And in and out of weeks and almost over a year to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all. So Max is obviously quite brave and wants to be in charge. And they made him king of all wild things. And now, cried Max, let the wild rumpus start. I think Max didn't want to go to bed, do you? So there they are, partying through the night, all the wild things. And Max is the king of all the wild things. They're swinging on trees. They look very happy, don't they? And they're having lots of fun. Now stop, Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. That's what happened to Max from his mummy, wasn't it? And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. I think maybe he's missing his mum, do you think? Then all around, from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, oh, please don't go, we'll eat you up, we love you so. And Max said, no. The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye and sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day and into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. Do you think Max maybe had a little bit of a dream? And it was still hot. So that was the book for today, boys and girls, and I think it's a really nice book because it shows how Max uses his imagination to go on an adventure. Now, sometimes that happens to us in dreams, but sometimes we can use our imagination when we're awake. And I think books are a very good way of doing that. Because at the moment, because of this pandemic, there's a lot of adventures that we can't go on. Like, we're not really allowed to go very far from our homes. A lot of us aren't even at school at the moment. And we certainly can't travel on aeroplanes to other lands, but we can travel in our minds. And somebody who was very good at doing that and who is one of Miss Kirkwood's favourite little characters was Matilda from the Roald Dahl books. And this is a lovely quote. It says, the books transported her into new worlds and introduced her to amazing people who lived exciting lives. She travelled all over the world while sitting in her little room in an English village. Okay, and Matilda was very good at travelling off in her mind. Unfortunately, I don't have a copy of the book here at the moment, but I do have a copy of the film. So I hope that this week you will share some of your favourite stories with us and your favourite authors. You might like to dress up. Or perhaps you would like to read a story to us, and we would love to see your videos or see your pictures of you dressed up or pictures of your favourite book. And Miss Kirkwood and I know many other teachers have also put work on Teams for you to do. So,
Hi. As you know, it's World Book Day on Thursday, 4th of March. And I think really we can celebrate all forms of reading. We can also celebrate being read to and listening to audiobooks. So, what am I reading? Well, in the car, myself and my family are listening to the audiobook Harry Potter, Book 3. Do you know which Book 3 is? It's The Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm looking down here onto one of my bookshelves because I'm a bit of a Harry Potter fan. Yes, The Prisoner of Azkaban. So that's what I'm listening to as an audiobook with my son, who really didn't get into Harry Potter until it was introduced as an audiobook. It also makes the car journeys, the long ones, go a bit quicker. What am I reading? Well, I'm reading a book that Mrs. Ferguson lent me. This is Going to Hurt. What's this a book about? Well, painfully funny, absolutely brilliant. It's the secret diaries of a junior doctor. And I suppose when we are all feeling under some kind of pressure, it's always good to read about other people's pressures. So thank you, Mrs. Ferguson, for lending me this book. I'm really enjoying it, and it certainly takes my mind off a few things. It was in one of the Book of the Year awards and won it at the National Book Awards. I can recommend that to some of the families. You hopefully will be able to send in and tell me what you're reading. You might be reading a comic, or maybe you're reading a book with your family, or maybe you're listening to a book. So please send in and let me know what you are reading. Happy World Book Day.
Hi everybody. I brought a couple of books to show you today. Now, if I was going to read a book for myself, it'd be a book like this one. But as you can see, it's quite big. If I was reading to my family when they were young, it'd be a book like this one, Oi Frog. And it's a really good book. I was reading it this morning before I came in. So, Oi Frog. Woohoo! Can't I sit on a mat? Asked the frog. Only cats sit on mats, said the cat. What about a chair? Said the frog. I wouldn't mind sitting on a chair. Hares sit on chairs, said the cat. Perhaps I could sit on a stool, said Frog. Mules sit on stools, said the cat. What about a sofa? Said Frog. I could stretch right out on a sofa. Gophers sit on sofas, said the cat. It's very simple, really. Cats sit on mats, hares sit on chairs, mules sit on stools, gophers sit on sofas, and frogs sit on logs. Doesn't sound very comfortable, said Frog. It's not about being comfortable, said the cat. It's about doing the right thing. What about foxes? Asked Frog. Foxes sit on boxes, said the cat. Foxes sit on boxes and fleas sit on peas. What do goats sit on? Asked the frog. Goats sit on coats, said the cat. Goats sit on coats, cows sit on ploughs, storks sit on forks. What do gorillas sit on? Asked the frog. Gorillas sit on pillars, said the cat. Gorillas sit on pillars. Rats sit on hats, weasels sit on easels, and moles sit on poles. What do seals sit on? Asked the frog. Don't you know anything? Said the cat. Seals sit on wheels. Doves sit on gloves. Newts sit on flutes. Lizards sit on wizards. And apes sit on grapes. What about puffins? Asked the frog. Puffins sit on muffins, said the cat. Puffins sit on muffins, snakes sit on cakes, owls sit on towels, gibbons sit on ribbons, lambs sit on jams, bees sit on keys, and pumas sit on satsumas. Well, I never knew that, said the frog. Well, you do now, said the cat. What do dogs sit on? Asked the frog. I was hoping you weren't going to ask that, said the cat. Ta-da! Enjoy World Book Day, folks. Bye-bye.
Someday I'm gonna write the story of my life. I'll tell about the night we met and how my heart can forget the way you smiled at me. I'd like the world to know the story of my life. The moment when your lips met mine, and that first exciting time I held you close to me. The sorrow when our love was breaking up, the memory of the broken.
Lately, I've been thinking, I want you to be happier. I want you to be happier. When the morning comes and we see what we've become, in the cold light of day, we're a flame in the wind, not the fire that we begun. Every argument, every word we can't take back. Cause with all that has happened, I think that we both know the way that the story ends. Then only for a minute I want to change my mind, cause this just don't feel right to me. I wanna raise your spirits, I want to see you smile, but no, that means I'll have to leave. No, that means I'll have to leave. Lately, I've been thinking, I want you to be happier. I want you to be happier. When the evening falls and I'm left there with my thoughts, and the image of you being with someone else, well, it's eating me up inside. But we ran our course, we pretended we're okay. Now if we jump together, at least we can swim far away from the wreck we made. Then only for a minute I want to change my mind, cause this just don't feel right to me. I wanna raise your spirits.
Well, it's birthday time, and we've got some 21st birthdays this week. Yes, Mr. Watani and Mrs. Ali, happy birthday, being 21 again. Wink, wink. So happy birthday to both Mr. Watani and Mrs. Ali. And then another birthday yesterday. One of our really, really special partners. We absolutely love her. You'll find her on our website and in the Twitter. Katie from Inspire. Happy birthday, Katie. Hope you had a good day. Obviously, lots of things we can't do at the moment, but we're all thinking about you. We all miss you, Katie, and we can't wait to have you back at Pilrig Park. So, some birthdays to sing along and think about our friends in the community and our staff. And I will hand over for the birthday song. Enjoy. Hi, so that's the end of another assembly. Well, a couple of things I wanted to mention quickly this week. Just going to say well done. I know some of our pupils are doing testing currently, and some pupils have told me that when they come back to school in April, they're going to do the testing. I can't say I enjoy it, but it has to be done to keep us safe. It is obviously voluntary, but for those who have volunteered to do it and are doing it, around the pupils, you're very, very brave, so well done you. And for those who have said they might try it, well done. Certainly isn't easy, but well done you. And also, I've got to remember to do my shout out. Miss Kirkwood was reminding me just about one of our pupils who's been doing a great piece of homeschooling, Jaslyn, through the Leapfrog Academy. This started in the first lockdown. So really, really keeping the old brain ticking over and doing lots of good work. So well done, Jaslyn. And just remember, it's lovely when we do connect with you all and talk online or do some work online or just have our playground chats. I actually think there's one or two of my pupils that could probably run the playground chat for me. And it's just great to be able to have that connection. Keep our Pilrig Park family connected, hey? Well, it is, as I say, World Book Week, and yesterday was World Book Day. And I think we'll probably end up turning it into a Pilrig Park World Book Fortnight, really. I personally found it very relaxing listening to Mrs. Laird reading her book about Bear. I'm looking forward to Mrs. Bishop reading some more chapters next week. And maybe even some other staff join in with the reading. And who knows, maybe a parent would like to read. Please email me if you would. And of course, soon, Miss Kirkwood will be doing her bear hunt reading. And she might do some other reading as well. So books, well, there's lots of different books, aren't there? And remember, as I said, it's not just about books. It's about the fact that you might listen to books and have them read to you. And I really enjoy other people reading. I enjoy audiobooks. I enjoy listening to live readings. I said to you last week, who lived in this place here? Well, yes, one of my favourite writers for poetry. Dylan Thomas. Lots of wonderful, wonderful poetry. I'm not saying that everybody would necessarily understand all of this, but there is something very soothing at times just listening to the rhythm of poetry. So I do really like the poems of Dylan Thomas. And here's a colour version of the house that's up on my wall, the boathouse that he lived in. Absolutely beautiful views of the estuary down in South Wales. But you know, also, Mrs. Laird was talking about the fact that she really loves birds and she has a passion for studying birds, telling us all about the different breeds of birds. Well, I have a real passion for art. I like to bore Mrs. Ferguson with chats about art all the time. And Mrs. Ferguson is actually a really good artist, as is her daughter, Lauren. And so I think when we talk about World Book Day, there are lots of different books. I personally like to look at books of artwork and pictures. Again, just as we were exploring the pictures in the book that Mrs. Laird read, I like to look at beautiful pictures. Here's a real favourite of mine, Annie Swinnerton. Go and find out about her leading the way in female British art. And I like this picture because it's called The Olive Gatherers. Olives. Everybody like olives or use olive oil? On the plains of Lombardy. And Lombardy is in Italy. So there you go, to Lawrence and his family, because we always like to talk about Italy. That beautiful painting with the pinks and the blues. It's all about the colour. That's one of my favourite Annie Swinnertons. She had a fantastic exhibition in the Manchester City Art Gallery a couple of years ago. It's about the light. And here's another book I like to look at sometimes to relax. I even like the picture on the front cover. Pierre Bonnard, wonderful French painter. Lots of scenery, and I really like this. It's called Summer. It's just about the colours again. And I like to look forward to the summer. And while I'm in here, I mark the spot with actually another, it's the detail in this, and another bit of Pierre Bonnard. And this is a bathroom, but that's the rug. It's like the colours in the rug. Wonderful. Funnily enough, I also have a postcard I found in my book of a snow leopard, because I like the wild Highland Wildlife Park. I like to go and visit the snow leopards. And then look at this great book. Brian Cook's Landscapes of Britain. So, based a Scottish village, fishing village, based on Crail in Fife. And an imaginary scene based on Eilean Castle, up in the Highlands and the gateway to Skye. I just love looking through picture books. I really appreciate that. But I also thought I'd just quickly end with another favourite book of mine, which always amuses me because I love looking at the English language, but also pictures. And this book combines it. It's great. It's called, listen to this, A Compendium of Collective Nouns. What does that even mean? Well, you'd have to get the book and find out. But a compendium, a collection of words talking about different groups of things. Different groups of things. And here are two that I thought, well, Mrs. Laird might like, because she's been talking about birds. So we have a bevy of quails. Look at the quails. Quail eggs are quite a delicacy. And then this is so colourful, a bouquet of hummingbirds. A bouquet of hummingbirds. So, just sharing with you some of my favourite books. Just to look at and just to relax with. Well, whether you're listening to something or reading something or discussing something or watching something, enjoy it. And keep sharing those experiences with us if you come and join the online chat next week, or if you just want to send a photo, or if you want to connect on the Facebook Nurture page, or maybe you want to send an email. Have a good weekend, stay safe, and take care, everybody. We miss you, but the good news is we're all moving back towards people being in school, and I think even for those people who currently are out of school, I'm sure and I'm hoping that you will feel it's safe enough to come back after Easter, so that we can all be back in school, moving towards the summer and having a really good last term together. Take care. Bye.